He's busy. He's a busy dog, as always. Go get him, buddy. Ooh, it's interesting weather today. We had hail about an hour ago. Beautiful clouds. Mid-morning horsey check. Thought I'd bring you guys along. Got a haircut this morning. I think she went a little far this time, but my hair goes fast. So something you guys don't... What's up there, fast dog? Cruising around pretty quick. Something you guys don't get to see very often, but the hay bags are almost completely empty. It's high time I fill them back up. If you're new to the channel, see, water is getting slightly low too. So I'll top up all the waters as well. But if you're slightly new to this channel, we keep our horses with 24/7 hay. What's up, Springer? And when they get low or run out, we're out here making sure that they have a top up. What's going on, buddy? You got a lot of energy. You came down here in a rush. What's going on? A little bit windy. Not bad. I definitely feel a little more breezy. Yeah, we keep them topped up because they are healthier for it. Much healthier. Shouldn't. I'd say that anything more than a few hours is probably a bit much. You know, 4 or 5 hours. I top clean up so much she still actually has hay. But mainly because you're all the way down here and it's kind of a pain, so I just make sure you have lots and lots. I like her ears. All over the place. I'll be back for you in a minute. The other thing you guys get to miss is all the poop cleaned up, so no poop counting for us right now. Hi, Roni. Anyhow, so, you know, keep some food in their bellies. In the wintertime, it keeps them warm. Horses stay healthy. They eat when they want. What's up, buddy? I want to do some stuff with you. I have some ideas. You're ideal for the situation. Did you know that? Let's see what happens when he brings his head back. I'll bring the camera forward. When he goes away, I'll move the camera away. You guys hear that frog? Hey, pal. You're so jittery this morning. What's wrong? Okay. You need some scratches somewhere else. Oh, Mr. Communicator today. It's oh, look at all that hair coming off. He says, scratch the butt. Look, he's lifted his tail up and everything. Oh, he's got to poop. Well, let's not focus on that. Why didn't you tell me you had to poop? Moving on. Horses poop all the time. Look at this. Whew. Split. Did that yesterday. It. So that was a heck of a lot of fun. Didn't take too long, maybe half an hour or something like that. A little chainsaw, a little wedging. Luke also has been loaded up because again, and Roni, he had a huge heavy bag there. So these guys are doing just great. Where's that frog? You hear it? Frogs are out there. Last year we had a couple frogs in the pond. We're hoping they're gonna come back, or something will come back, or something will just come and show up. Big cleanup back here. All of this has been sort of cleaned up, swept out. This area is getting cleaned up. So, better. This log's gonna get dealt with. Can't wait to show you guys that. Okay, moving on. That's horsey check. I had a question come in on how rope halters should fit. I've been asked this before. I said I'd do a video. So that's next, right here, right now. So I'll see you guys very shortly on that one. Okay, we're on part 2 of today's video. We need to go over haltering, or rope halters primarily. I had a couple of times at least that people have asked, well, how do you tie, or how do you fit a rope halter? How does that go? What are you doing? Go away. Don't rub on me. And I thought, sure, let's do that now. Let's get that done. Keep meaning to do it. I haven't done it. I get asked, where do you get your rope halters? What brand of rope halter? So on and so forth. My favorite rope halter is the one I'm using right now, which is always my black and brownish, grayish. Used to be kind of whitish. The connected, and it is most likely permanently connected. Can you lift your head up for a second here to the bottom here, because it's been on for so long and it's dealt with so many horses that it has likely tightened on to a level that it's bonded. We just settle. I'll scratch you in a minute, maybe. And so this is my favorite. It's a black one made by, I'm pretty sure it's Double Diamond. Stop it. Don't scratch on me. It's not scratching time. It's backing up time. Being a good horse time. So my main halter is a Double Diamond one. Doesn't mean that I always use a Double Diamond one. I've got a bunch of halters here. I've got another one called Burwash brand, whatever, and another one called Mustang Original, and then I've got a nylon one from Weaver. Whatever, brands are brands, but it doesn't mean that a particular brand is always going to create a great product. So I'd rather talk about the product than the brand at the moment, because this is not a sponsored video of any sorts, so I get to say whatever I want. Now, the reason I really like this one is because it is so easy to use. It is the easiest halter I have to use because I never really have to tie it. I mean, there's times I do tie it, but for most of the stuff that I do with a horse, I don't tie it at all. And the reason is, and we'll see if I can show it here, is because right at the top here is a knot. They've put a knot in it, and it's cut quite close to the edge, so there's nothing else sticking out. There's no long piece of rope. Put your head up. So when I put it through, the loop at the top is also small enough that it just clips in. Now, I've only had one instance where it's actually pulled back through, so I trust it quite a bit, but I don't use it, I don't leave it just with a knot if I'm working with a horse. So now, that out aside, what? Get back. That aside, talking about, well, what's my favorite? I'd say this one is my favorite. I like the material. It's a really solid rope. Sometimes they come, this one's a little bit of thicker. I've got one that's a little bit thicker. It's okay, but I find it a little bit too thick. This one's a little bit thinner, maybe. I don't know why, but once you get one that you're really used to, you'll just start to like it. The weave is really tight. It's got to be a three braid, or I can't remember what it's called now. I used to be in sailing, so I knew all these things, and now I've just weirdly forgotten them all. Double braids, triple braid, so anyway, so it's really, it doesn't have any stretch to it. There's no stretch to it. It's very just firm but pliable and flexible. So the type of rope halter that you're going to want to look around for is something that doesn't stretch. Some of these stretch and then they stretch out and then they stop fitting. The stuff that doesn't stretch, but it's pliable and loose and doesn't feel, you know, rough and all that kind of stuff. Now, nothing about this is fitting quite right on him. So pick your head up. Can't see you if you put your head down. Maybe we'll just put the camera down a little more. And we really want this to fit a rope halter, which, okay, so the reasons, let's go backwards just for a second. Stop. Why would we use a rope halter? In my opinion, in my experience, rope halters are safer. And the reason they're safer is because they don't break. I've had leather ones and nylon ones break through age. Stop it. Just settle down. Through age or use. They're sewn together. I mean, they're pretty strong, but the buckles can fail. There's also a bunch of metal all over it. Rope halters are just rope. So less of a failure point, less sort of cold metal or uncomfortable metal sort of banging around, and just stronger. So in my mind, it makes it a lot safer. So rope halter is safer in general. Because they never break as well, you never want to leave a rope halter on, ever. Especially if you're not watching your horse, you just never know. They might try to scratch their ear and they'll get their hoof caught inside of it and then they're done. You have no more horse. And that sucks. And if you doubt me, just go look on the internet. There's piles of stories about people who left halters on and their horses are dead. So don't leave your halter on if you can help it. Now, especially a rope halter. So the fit of a rope halter, I find, is also safer because we have more points of, here, back up for a second, more points of control or contact that allow us to, when they get out of sorts, to control them and not have them run off or get out of our hands and stuff like that. Right now, this one is not fitting as I would like a rope halter to fit. Pick your head up a little. Come on, sleepy eyes. It's coming down his jawline, which is, if you're gonna sleep, maybe I'll just bring the camera a little lower. Okay, so it comes down his cheek instead of where it should be going, and also the nose part is far too low. It starts to get down into the more sensitive structure of the nose, which is weaker. You want the nose part to be much more up over top of where the bone is, so it's a stronger place to control. All right, so let's tie this thing on properly. Now, I teach everybody that I ever teach with rope halters this one rule. And the rule is simple. First, you make sure that it's on, and as you can see, if it's on properly, this is how loose it is. Very loose. So what we'll do is we'll make sure we get it on, and that means sort of you gotta adjust it around. You gotta flip it around their head, and you gotta move it, and they have to be really good with you touching them all over. So, Luke, stop, man. I'll scratch you in a minute. You'd like to go have a roll or something, because I've just brought him in here. So if I can get him to not do that, we want the back of the halter to sit underneath the jaw, and then we'll draw upwards. So, meaning the first step of doing this halter business up is that when you come through with what's called the bitter end, or the end that's loose, you want to come under this thing here. Now this rule is called under, under, under. And so we'll come under there. Now we'll pull this up to make sure that it fits properly. It fits over his nose. The knots are just around his cheekbones here. This comes in under his chin. He can still open his mouth, right? And these are coming in underneath his jaw here. Then we do our next under. So we've come under the loop, we come under the whole thing, and then we come under the little circle we made, or the little loop we made, and then tighten it. This bit here must be below here and above here. So it's under, under, under. That's the way I teach it. Now that's a properly fitting rope halter. And the main reason we want this, pick up your head. Stop. Come here. Got to give Luke a hard time right now. You've only got to perform for 10 minutes, man. 10 minutes of your whole life. maybe less. We need the rope halter to fit. Move your head that way for a second. A little more. A little more. A little more. There. Something like that. Can you guys see? There. Stay there. Don't move. Ah! It has to go behind his jaw, because if we needed to pull, unlike, that was close. Will you just stay back? Unlike a nylon or a leather average, just, you know, one of these clip-on dealio things, we have more contact because we have not only the top, but we have behind the jaw. If you just rely on the top here, horses can put up with a lot of stuff. Not only that, but they'll also push against this more. And then the rope halter also is not like this large weave, you know, an inch to inch and a half wide weave or soft material back there. Not that you want to be pulling on them, but if you ever had to, they'll think about doing it at far less when they've got this where the bones are, compared to you know, just up here where the muscle and ligaments. There's bones in there too, but they'll tolerate a lot more up here, and you'll have a lot more trouble where you could just have a pull on the 3 parts, so both sides of the jaw and the top of the head. So this is a decent fitting halter, I would say. So I'll show you what a poor fitting halter looks like, as long as Luke doesn't just drop down and fall asleep on me right here. Now I only half trust him, so I'm just going to put this halter here because he's trouble. Okay, so here is a halter that is going to be way too big. Luke, pick your head up. Come here. Okay, we'll put this on, and I'm not going to do a rope or a haltering video at the moment, but we'll see how this is just too big. You see, the knots have come up. They're much more too close to his eye. It doesn't fit here, and then by the time I'm doing my knot up here, and it's behind his jaw, Luke, there, behind his jaw, my knot is already up near his ear. This is not a proper fitting rope halter. Okay, so that's that one. Chuck that on the ground. Here's one that is too small. This will be obvious as soon as I put it on. Come here. You're trouble, man. You're trouble. So we'll put this one on. Barely. And you can see here, put your head up. Come on, sleepy boy. Oh my goodness. Okay, camera down. As you can see here, it barely reaches under his chin. This stuff that sits underneath their chin, right on the bone and stuff like that, I mean, he'll have a hard time opening his mouth to lick his lips, or to, you know, to chew, or to anything. And there's not a chance that I'm going to get this tied up, let alone underneath his jaw. So the 3 points are already failing here underneath his jaw. It's already bothering him. I gotta let him go. He doesn't fit underneath here, and then obviously it'll be real hard. I'll have a real hard time tying this thing up. So I'll let that go. The last one we'll talk about is the nylon one. I know, buddy, I know. Now these ones are for ease of use for sure. As a horse owner, good grief, just stop moving. As you can see, it's pretty easy to put on if your horse isn't trying to scratch on you. And then you just take the big clip at the bottom and clip it on. So that's, let's bring me back into the frame a little. That's, you know, a normal fitting nylon halter. But the problem is that there's, if you were to pull on the ring at the bottom, all of this comes forward, and it only pulls on the top of his head. So, okay, Mr. Trouble, I'm gonna let you go in a second. Clunky, makes noise, it's heavy. I don't use them for many reasons, and the biggest one being that it's a safety issue. We'll go back to the one that fits, and again, I just put it over here for my normal use, but I'll tie it up properly, and that'll fit pretty good right on his, just ahead of his cheekbones, or around there underneath his jaw, so he can open his mouth, and over top of his head, and behind his jaw back here. So, okay, goodbye. You've been so much trouble, but thank you. You've been actually pretty good. You say, buddy? You're out? I'm out. That's it. That's rope halters in a nutshell. How they work, why they work. Luke says, what's in the barrel? Probably nothing. It rained a little. All right, so there's your demonstration. Hopefully you guys found that interesting and useful. If you have any more questions, let me know. See you guys tomorrow.